I'm going to show you a strategy to use for summarizing fiction passages. So I have a passage here that I want you to follow along while I read, and then I'm going to show you on the side using the somebody wanted but so them strategy to write your summary. So enjoy the story and follow along. The big game. Michelle pulled her soccer jersey over her head and tied her shoes. It was time for the big game. Michelle and her team had practiced all season and they were ready. Michelle ran onto the field and stared at the ball. She wanted so badly to win the game for her team. Michelle kicked the ball up and down the field, scoring goal after goal. Her team pulled ahead and was winning. Ouch! Michelle tripped and rolled her ankle. She stood and tried to walk, but her ankle hurt so bad. The coach pulled her out and had her sit on the sidelines. Michelle was crushed. She quickly grabbed a bag of ice out of the cooler and held it to her ankle. Maybe, just maybe, it could make her well enough to play. Michelle watched as the other team stole the ball and made goal after goal. As the game was coming to an end, Michelle whispered to the coach, "Put me in, I can play." The coach looked at her ankle and said, "If you think you can, go for it." Michelle slowly stood up and jogged onto the field. The ref blew his whistle and Michelle sprinted towards the ball. She pushed herself and She pulled herself and outran the other team. Score! Michelle kicked the ball into the goal and scored the winning point. Michelle's ankle hurt so bad, but she didn't care because her team won. Now, you might have to read this over again just to get the gist of the story, and then doing the somebody wanted but so then will be really easy. So let's take a look at the graphic on the other side. Somebody is who is the story about. Wanted is what did the main character want, but what kept the main character from what they wanted. And so, what did the main character do to fix the problem? And lastly, we have then, how did the story end? So let's take a look at the other slide. I'm going to show you how we fill this out. If you look at the color coding, you can see where it's matching and where I found the information in the fiction passage. So let's take a look at somebody. Who is the story about? Well, it's about Michelle, who is a soccer player. What did she want? What did the main character want? Well, if you look in the yellow, she wanted so badly to win the game for her team. But what kept the main character from what they wanted? Well, if you look in the green highlight, I pulled it right from the passage. Her ankle hurt and the coach pulled her out and had her sit on the bench. So what did the main character do to fix the problem? Well, if you look at the periwinkle highlight, I pulled it right from the passage. She quickly grabbed a bag of ice out of the cooler and held it to her ankle. And then lastly, how did the story end? She kicked the ball into the goal and scored the winning point. Now, sometimes you have to maybe paraphrase, and it won't be just like a sentence here in this short passage if you're summarizing a chapter. So what you do is you take this information that's in the graphic, but you're going to take and use these key starter words into your sentences. Now remember, summaries should be short, maybe 5 to 7 sentences, one paragraph. Summaries just want to give the reader an overall gist of what's going on in the story. So if we look at the last one, look that I didn't use somebody, the word somebody, but I used the words wanted, but, so, then that I highlighted. And that's what I want you to do in your summaries. So let's take a look at the summary. I took everything that we put into the organizer, and now I just put it into a paragraph. So let's read it together. Michelle was eager to play in her soccer game. She wanted to win this game very badly, but she rolled her ankle during the game and the coach pulled her from the game. So she decided to put ice on her ankle to help it heal quicker. Then she asked the coach if she could go back into the game to help her team win. And he did, and she scored the winning goal. Now, your teacher will tell you if they want you to include the last part, the ending, the solution. And they'll ask you if they want you to not include it. But when you're summarizing, you should include it. So this is just a quick way to help you write a really good summary for fiction. Remember to use those clues. It should be short and sweet, 5 to 7 sentences long, a paragraph, and use the somebody wanted, but so then. Good luck.